This is a review of Difranco University, so let's get involved. So for those who don't know about me, I work in the web industry for an e-commerce company. I build websites for a living basically. I have a degree in building websites and I kind of love David Difranco. Get my words out. So what is Difranco University? It is a place where you can go and soak up knowledge and information that I guess David has gained over 2000, coming up 10 years of YouTube, I'm guessing. So this isn't going to be a review based on the content. I'm sure the content is brilliant, but this is going to be a review based on the site, just how I think it looks, how it works, how it responds, and hopefully give David some help. I'm not saying I'm going to be brilliant, but give him some help, just my thoughts, opinions from initially viewing the website itself. So when you look at stuff like Difranco University, you can see here, initially I'm picking up stuff, but you can see here there's a big masthead. You've got to look at it based on other similar sites. So there's a lot of sites that we do at work for jewellery companies that are dark black, that I look at and go, that's awful, how can anyone potentially buy something, especially a ring, on one of these sites? But then you look at other sites from not just our other jewellery sites, but from other companies and just jewellery sites in general, and you see that a lot of them do match that and look similar. So when you're viewing something like this, it's important to think about not just your opinion, but what's the norm for this kind of site. And because it's obviously a big content consumption website, I guess you look at other university sites, maybe some tech blogs, although they tend to be a lot more busy than this, but just look at it and think about that in general. So when we talk about this kind of thing, don't say, well, I personally don't like the fact that it's so white, I would rather it be black, because it's relative to other sites that are similar. So let's get into it. So first of all, big masthead here, Difranco University, changes to black. Initially the blue's okay. I'm not too keen on, I think personally just having that black there makes it really stand out and pop, and it's great. I think the blue works, but yes, wouldn't be my choice, but the blue works. There's just something about the all blackness sort of newspaper style that I think works really well there. But that's just obviously my opinion. So then you've got the nav coming down here, which is cool. Initially, again, noticing welcome to Difranco University, informal resource. So mission statement, SEO statement, whichever you want to call it, outlining what it is. It's great. You've got a slider. Again, I think this is WordPress built. I've never used I think this is Squarespace built. I've never used Squarespace. I've used WordPress. And I've used obviously our in-house CMS, but I've never used Squarespace. But so let's look at some code. So I'm guessing this slider is, I don't think it's a flex slider. I don't know what slider it's using, but man the names for these IDs. I'm guessing they're uniquely generated in PHP, but again, it's not brilliant. Let's just inspect this again. Sometimes Firebug does that, I couldn't tell you why. SQS, Squarespace wrapper. So yes, this is Squarespace. So again, this is a simple slider, it works well. Featured posts, I'm guessing. Man, I can't speak today, I need more cups of tea. But this looks, again, great, works really well, no issues there. Content, I'm guessing he doesn't have a lot of content on the site currently. A lot of subcategories, because you've got blogging, which is obviously top level, but there's no sub level to that. So I'm guessing there's no, shut this down for a second, I'm guessing there's no other things going on, there's no other subcategories. So again, video content could be how to light videos, it could be your whole sections on lighting or on audio or whatever, and I'm guessing that hasn't been done as a drop down because it just doesn't have enough content to warrant one yet, so that's not a knock against it. But again, if there's a lot of content, then that would be handy. No search feature on the homepage, I've noticed, which is a little weird. Again, if you had drop downs, you might not need it, but it's handy to have a search feature there. So that's just an initial thing. It's got these photo promos, whichever you want to call them, which are cool. And then these social links. The social links are at the bottom of the page and not at the top, which again can work. That's how we sometimes do it at work, is have them at the bottom. Sometimes you have them at the top. I personally prefer them at the top because they're right visible. Some people argue that you don't want people leaving your site to get stuck on like Instagram and viewing the posts there. So again, personally, I always think stick them at the top. They're there, people can just click on them straight away and get to all your content. You could potentially fix them in a box on the side here and have it so they always fit to the width of the parent container, and then of course that would scale it in. But again, some people argue that that looks messy, so yeah, I'm not knocking in for having them at the bottom. It's your own personal preference, but personally I would stick them at the top. Guess these are more featured categories as opposed to featured posts, so that should take you into sub-level. This should be passive is this a post? Well, we'll find out. Yeah, so passive yeah, top level. So let's get this. Control Shift M is the tab. It has to be on Firefox to get into this mobile view. So content looks cool, looks fine. These images look a bit blown out. Potentially use bigger images that are higher quality because they're bigger, and then scale them down. So keep them in the same proportion, but double them in size, equally width and height, and scale them back down again would work. Got sublinks there, which is again totally fine. A link to, I'm guessing, Squarespace Summit. Oh, so these are all from the Vault. These are all sites. Brand Rocket. I quite like Brand Rocket, to be fair. I thought the site looked great, so the Vault, yeah, that's all fine, well and good. This text is getting cut off on mobile view. See, it scales back down there, so potentially I would reduce the size of this on a mobile device, just generally. So see what's using, man. I don't. Their code is mental. Look at this for an idea. Ridiculous font size, 140 pixels. So you can scale it down again. This is a responsive site, so I'd probably be using rems for this instead of pixels. I don't know if this is because I haven't used Squarespace. I know that Squarespace uses its own theme, so I don't think you can create your own theme and use it with Squarespace. I think you use their themes and edit them, so this is probably something that's in their theme, but again, I would be using rems for this, or EMs, but generally for text you'd be using rems because they scale independently based on the main size of your content set in your body, as opposed to a rem which scales based on whatever container it's in. But yeah, I would be using rems for this if it was me, but that's just a small thing. Again, using rems for the media queries, it's a bit awkward. I think 67 rems is tablet. I think we use rems at work now for responsive sites, but again, I'm guessing at that. Again, that's going to depend on obviously whatever you've set, but yeah, so that's cool. I like this menu, and again, this is what I'm talking about with the sort of navigation with the social links. I'm assuming they're right at the bottom, so yeah, they're right at the bottom again, which if you're on a mobile device is probably worse in my opinion, but that, again, that's just my opinion. What I would do is have them in the header, and when you get down here I'd have them fixed underneath all your content. But yeah, overall it looks okay. Coming here, so this nav looks a bit funny now. it's kind of not centered. And then you go, see, I like how that responds down. I would be tempted to have some padding between these just to make the gap a bit bigger, but yeah, I like how it responds down. But this nav, for me, I would be tempted with the nav to push the content in, so have another breakpoint, so rather than dropping down, it just drops further inwards with the width, I'm gonna guess. So let's see what's funky going on here. So body top nav, so that's all fine. Child tags, transparent, solid. So there's not much set on the A, to be fair. Got this margin left, inline block. Oh, your position float left. Yeah, so that works. So taking off this float actually helps you respond in better. So that would be my well, yeah, again there, big gap, but yeah, so initially I would just take off that float and say that I'm happy with that. As it responds down, it responds a lot better. Again, I would be tempted to keep the styling that you've done, even push it in, just so that it's consistent more. But yeah, 6 and 2 3s. So let's move on to a section, creative design. Close this firebug down. Oh, by the way, a lot of people might be questioning the firebug. It is a tomorrow night theme using stylish. So if you are in Firefox, you can install stylish, which allows you to install custom CSS for different sites and styles, and there's one for Firebug called Tomorrow Night that you can install. Again, people at work are trying to get me to switch over to Chrome purely because it's faster, but Chrome's default editor is really great, but I'm just not used to it, and you know, the actual inspect elements, and it's white, and Chrome no longer allows you to install custom sort of user styles in the browser. So, and I mean, there's Firebug, but then Firebug for Chrome doesn't really do much. It's infant at best. I think it's an alpha, so yeah, anyway. So I like how these are really big with things that make every post great. Then there's an older post link. So again, this is kind of what I'm talking about with the drop downs. It's fine for now. Oh, search bar's here now, and they're at the top. So yeah, it's fine for now, but once there's a lot of content on there, you're getting 5 pages of content. You know, I think it'd be better to section it off and include some drop downs just to make things a bit easier. But that's obviously progression for the future, and I'm going to get rid of this, so we're now viewing it full screen again. And again, yeah, so they're up there, and they appear twice as a duplicate link down the footer. So again, that's for me, and again, this is just me personally. If you had them push this down, always had them in the header, you wouldn't need them in the footer so much, these social links, and you wouldn't need them in the sidebar because it'd be at the top, which would then in turn mean that you wouldn't actually need them twice on this page. And I'm guessing when you go into a post, it will be the same. So I'm not sure how this. So let's Control Shift M this, pull this in, so you can see again. So all this sidebar just drops underneath, which is a really nice way of doing it. These blog, I'm guessing these will go to a 1-page section in a minute. Yeah, so that's fine. But then again, you've got social links here, and the social links down there at the bottom, which again for me, it's just a lot of little thing, but you know, duplicate content's never too great. And if I'm viewing the site, I'm going to say, well, it really wants me to check out these other things. But so potentially you could just, if you wanted to, leave them here, and then when it responds down, just display none these ones here, and then, or the ones in the, well, you wouldn't do the footer ones, but anyway, yeah. So let's click into a post. So read more. yes, that's interesting. So we'll go back a second. So I would be tempted to have these images clickable into the post because I initially went to go click there and it didn't work. So that's another thing to look at. Again, all these things are just little things that I'm picking up on as I'm viewing the site. I'm being more critical than maybe somebody else, an end user, might be. But yeah, this is just some help and guidance where possible. So the actual post page itself looks okay. No likes, you can share. Beautiful code. So that's taking a while to load, but I'm guessing that's my internet. So that's maybe add this as you share. I like the way that pulls in. I'm guessing this is something Squarespace has set up. His menu there. Let's go back a second. So yeah, so initially, so yeah, not bad. Exactly, this will go back one step and view comments, which has taken me here. Also, that just takes me into the page, and then obviously David's responding. So it's nice to see that David's actually responding to people and actually, using the site as a thing. But then again, this is David. So the one thing that just struck me that we're missing now is an about section for about David. I know the site's not his personal site, it's not really about him so much, but it's nice to know who runs the site. It's nice to know a bit about people. So if I'm viewing the site, I might go, well, how do I trust these articles? How do I know that Difranco University is great content? And having David with his pedigree saying, well, I've been doing YouTube for how many years, I'm great at video creating, I've run so many websites that have this degree, a bit about him builds up trust. And then that when he replies, because say I comment on this, which is fine, I can comment, that's not an issue, that's not a problem. But if I get a reply back from this David dude, that currently as an end user, I don't know that he's the guy who owns the site. I don't know that it's him who's writing all the content. It's Difranco University, so you can make a guess, but it'd just be nice to sort of, have that included. That's just a small thing to be remembered. That's just something that I would like. This guy has included his Twitter and an email. Risky business, but that's another thing. But yeah, so these are old articles. So yeah, so generally, site is great. I think the content's great. As I say, I think the site itself works well. I think Squarespace seems alright. I don't know how much, even as I say, I don't know if you can use your own themes. I think, to me, to be honest, that would be the crux of it. If I could create my own theme and upload it, I would get into Squarespace. I'm sure the Squarespace themes are brilliant. I'm sure it's better for an end user, but for me personally, I like to have control over things, and I don't like looking through someone else's code and trying to figure stuff out. It's great, but when you're working on this for your sites, you know how you work. Like even at work now, I look at the work someone else has done, their CSS code they've done, and it takes me a good 10 minutes to understand, the way they're working. So we try and be consistent at work, and we try and all use the same format. But when people are using different code editors, it can generally we're all using Storm, PHP Storm or Aftana or something. But yeah, so I would like personally, if I'm going to be working on sites like this, to use my own stuff. That's why I think personally Squarespace is cool, but I think WordPress for me personally. But anyway, that's not about this. So yeah, great site. Not much more I can say. A few little things I picked up on, but a lot of them just personal preference things that I would change if it was me. But generally the site looks cool, it's great for reading content. I'm just currently, I think the big thing to take away from this is that search functionality. I'm currently, I don't know what I'm searching for, but I just feel like some of the content's a bit lost. I feel like it's not as easy to find exactly what I'm looking for in video content, which might help. Maybe if you could search by category as well, that might help. So choose. Well, let's try it. Let's try and search for something. So I'm in video content. Search for. Well, I'll search for lighting, but I doubt I'll find anything. Nope. Audio. Yeah, so audio works. So yeah, it'd be nice to search by category, but I guess when the site's filled out more, that would work. I wonder if he's got Difranco University there. Wonder what his 404 is like. It's a standard 404 page, to be fair. But I just like Reddit where it's got the image and stuff. But yeah, that's just a quick initial impressions. Great site. Well done, David. Thanks. Bye.